exposed the miraculous journey of Ishmael, the rejected son who discovered God's divine blessing. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, all of Canaan was aware of the unfolding drama within the household of Abraham, a man bestowed with divine promises. Ishmael, the son of Abraham and Hagar, lived in the shadow of those promises, oftentimes feeling like a stranger in a home destined for greatness. His days were filled with joy, yet tinged with the sorrow of rejection, a stark contrast to the expectation of blessing infused in his lineage. Born of Hagar, once a maidservant, Ishmael was an innocent child caught between the tension of Sarai, Abraham's wife, and his mother, who now found herself the target of jealous wrath. Sarai, unable to bear children, bore her pain with bitterness, leading her to treat Hagar with disdain. It was a heart-wrenching existence for Ishmael, surrounded by love from Abraham but rejection from Sarai, echoed in the harsh backdrop of their camp. Tensions escalated when Sarai's jealousy turned to hostility, compelling Hagar to flee into the wilderness, a barren and desolate expanse under the relentless sun. With the clamor of their troubled camp fading into the distance, Hagar collapsed, overwhelmed by despair, leaving young Ishmael cradled beneath a scorching shrub. The midday heat bore down as she wept, and the heavens seemed deaf to her cries. Yet God's ears were attuned to the pleas of the forsaken. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord appeared to Hagar, illuminating her darkness with the promise that her son would become a great nation. This divine encounter transformed her grief into awe and wonder, igniting in her heart a flicker of hope. Indeed, Ishmael would count among the multitudes who would spring from his lineage, a revelation that stirred her soul as the promise echoed throughout the heavens. Years whirled on like the winds sweeping through the desert, and the birth of Isaac arose as a cherished miracle, a child whose laughter lit up the camp. Yet blessings often come paired with burdens, and the rift between Hagar and Sarai deepened. When the time came for Abraham to choose between his 2 sons, the heart-wrenching decision was made. Hagar and Ishmael were cast into the wilderness, the echoes of Sarai's disdain lingering like a specter behind them. As mother and son wandered, the harsh sun beamed down mercilessly, and their provisions dwindled. With her heart heavy and hopeless, Hagar left Ishmael beneath a bush, tears streaming as they faced their dire circumstances. Alone in the vast solitude, the silence pressed down on them, compounded by their keen hunger. Hagar's cries mounted toward the heavens, calling out, "Where is my God?" But God, it seemed, had not forsaken them. Just as Ishmael wept, the Lord's heart was stirred. In a moment of glorious divine intervention, he opened Hagar's eyes to a well of water, springs of life bubbling forth, a miracle amidst their despair. As Ishmael drank deeply from the fresh waters, faith ignited within him, a hope, the God who sees, shaping him for a destiny that was, at first glance, obscured by the shadows of abandonment. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey. I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. Yet the questions lingered in the desert air. What did God's blessing mean for Ishmael in a land where he felt like an outcast? What future awaited the boy, marked for greatness yet relegated to the shadows? As the sun set, casting golden hues over the endless sands, Ishmael stood tall, a heartbeat of destiny woven into the fabric of God's mysterious plan, awaiting a resolution that would transcend earthly understanding. As the dawn broke over the wilderness, a light pierced the veil of darkness, illuminating the sandy expanse where Hagar and Ishmael found themselves. The well of water, once their sole sustenance, had furnished them strength, and as they stood closer to one another, the bond between mother and son grew deeper with each passing moment. Hagar, now emboldened by the revelation of God's promise, began to ask the Lord for guidance. "Lord, what shall we do in this barren land?" she prayed, her heart wrestling with anxiety, yet buoyed by the promise of fertility that had been spoken over her son. "You have declared that he will be a great nation. Show us the path to fulfill this destiny." In the silence that followed her fervent pleas, the wind carried whispers of God's faithfulness. Ishmael, still a child, but growing in spirit, sensed an awakening within him, a longing for purpose greater than mere survival. His spirit began to stir as he recalled the words spoken by the angel, words of greatness that flowed like honey upon his lips. "Mother, what if we follow the direction of the wind?" Ishmael suggested, pointing to the horizon where the sun broke through the thick clouds. "Let us walk toward it." Hagar looked at her son, astonished at the wisdom radiating from his young heart. "Very well, my son, we shall follow the sun's light, trusting that he who sees us will guide our steps." Together they journeyed onward, their feet pressing into the warm sand as they ventured deeper into the unknown. The land, stark and unyielding, reflected their hardship, yet around them hovered the spirit of expectation. Each footfall was an act of faith, a step toward the uncharted plains of God's promise. Days turned into weeks as they roamed the wilderness. Under the heat of the relentless sun, they encountered both trials and moments of wonder. They saw quail emerge at dusk, a gift from the heavens, and found fruit that grew wild amongst the rocks. Through it all, each meal shared was a reminder of the covenant God had with Ishmael. As the sun dipped low, casting fiery rays across the night sky, Ishmael often felt a twinge within him, a deep yearning for identity and acknowledgement. He asked Hagar, "Will my father, Abraham, ever seek me out? Will Isaac know of me, the son birthed by Hagar? What am I to become in this world?" Hagar, her heart aching at his plight, responded with tenderness, "My dear Ishmael, the Lord promises to make you a great nation. Trust in him, for he is with you. Though we may walk apart from others, we are never apart from his love." As days slipped by, God cultivated Ishmael's heart, instilling within him a fiery resolve to embrace his identity. He roamed the dry landscapes, watching the sun dance on the dunes, feeling the pulse of life swelling within him. It was then that he began to see visions, stirred by the hand of the Almighty. One night, amid the shimmering constellations, the voice of God whispered, echoing through the vast expanse, "I have called you by name, Ishmael. You shall rise, and great will be your descendants. The generations that follow will bless the nations." Awake from dreams drenched in prophecy, Ishmael grasped the weight of his calling. He began to understand that it was not the location of his birth, but the condition of his heart that defined him. Gathering courage, he turned toward Hagar and spoke more than words. His spirit emanated fortitude, a holy fire igniting within. "Mother, we must prepare. We are destined for more than mere survival. God has a plan for us, a plan to prosper us." What they did not fully understand was that the path ahead would not be easy, but forged by divine purpose, it would lead them to a destiny interwoven with grace and sovereignty. Yet, as they looked to the horizon, a shadow flickered on the edge of their vision, a presence that loomed, a reminder of the struggles yet to come. What trials awaited them in their quest to fulfill the promise made by God? What was in store in the unfolding chapters of their lives as they sought to understand their place in His grand design? The winds carried a deeper mystery, one that would reveal the sovereign hand of God intertwining with the very heart of Ishmael's future, leading them into the unknown. As dawn's tender light kissed the edges of the wilderness, Hagar and Ishmael continued their pilgrimage, drawn by the leading of the Lord. days blended into one another, and with every step they took, the very earth beneath them seemed to hum with potential, a testament of God's whispered promises. It was during this time that Ishmael, emboldened by the visions imparted in the quiet of night, began to pray.
God, if indeed you have a purpose for me, teach me to follow in righteousness. Lead us to the place where we can flourish as you have promised. Hagar, witnessing the transformation of her son's spirit, prostrated before the Almighty in gratitude. O Lord, your faithfulness knows no bounds. You have poured your spirit into my son, and I tremble with joy at the thought of his future. Yet, as they journeyed, signs of impending challenges began to cast shadows upon their path. One evening, as they camped near a shallow brook, the soothing sound of water was overshadowed by distant shouts. A band of travelers approached, their faces weathered and eyes suspicious. "Who are you?" one of the strangers called out, his voice laced with both curiosity and caution. Hagar rose, shielding Ishmael behind her, embodying a mother's fierce protectiveness. "We are but humble wanderers seeking refuge," she spoke boldly, though her heart raced. "I am Hagar, and this is my son Ishmael." The men exchanged glances, and one stepped forward. "Do you not know this place holds peril for strangers? Many have lost their way here." Drawing courage from the well of divine sustenance within, Ishmael stepped forward, an unusual authority lacing his words. "We do not fear the trials of the wilderness, for we are bound to a promise greater than ourselves. God is with us, and he shall not forsake us." The men were struck by the confidence in the young man's voice, for often were the unseen forces of fear and doubt present in their hearts. "Then, if indeed God is with you," the leader said slowly, "perhaps there is safety in your company. Join us, and you will find strength in numbers." Accepting the invitation, Hagar and Ishmael intertwined themselves into the band, joining their journeys, yet a heavy cloud loomed over the assembly. In quiet murmurs, the travelers exchanged warnings about the lands ahead, filled with dissent and danger. That night, as they camped beneath a tapestry of stars, Ishmael, sensing the spirits of unease lingering, drew near to his mother. "Mother, should we not inquire of the Lord? Is there safety amongst those who do not know his name?" After a moment's pause, Hagar replied, her voice unwavering. "We must hold fast to our faith, my son. Let us together lift our voices to the Lord for guidance." Kneeling before the throne of grace, they poured out their souls, seeking direction amidst the uncertainty that enveloped them. The wind turned sharply, carrying deeper whispers, and God's voice broke through. "Fear not, for I am with you. Your sojourn shall not be in vain. Steadfastly pursue my commands, and I shall reveal myself mightily." Renewed in their resolve, Hagar and Ishmael rose, emboldened by the declaration of God. It was in that moment they understood. They were not merely wanderers. They were carriers of a heritage steeped in divine promise. But what lay ahead loomed darker than they dared to dream to foresee. Secret ambitions flickered within the group, and their unity began to fracture as the whispers turned to echoes of doubt. As tensions arose and hearts hardened, Ishmael would soon realize that the path to his destiny was entwined not only with his identity, but with the choices of those around him. And so they walked on, perilous paths ahead, a great revelation waiting to unfold, one that would intertwine the fates of nations and shining a light on Ishmael's calling. Would he embrace the call that was his, or would the shadows of doubt extinguish the bright promise God had placed within him? Only time would reveal how the tapestry of their lives was woven together by the threads of divine purpose. As dawn broke once more upon the rugged landscape, the air crackled with tension. Hagar sensed a disturbance amongst the company they had joined. She watched as the men gathered in hushed circles, glances darting like shadows across the fire,
distrust simmering just beneath the surface. "What weighs upon their hearts, Ishmael?" she asked, her voice low, concern threading through her words. The faithful boy, eyes keen and alert, shook his head. "Mother, I cannot say, but I feel it. Their fears take root in the heart like weeds in fertile soil." That same day, as they broke camp, the leader of the group, a man named Zimri, called for their attention. "Our paths entwine," he proclaimed, chest puffed with authority. "Yet trust must be earned. We have heard with unease that hostile tribes lie ahead, and we must decide quickly how to proceed." There was a low murmur among the men, doubt weaving its way through the assembly. Ishmael stepped forward, emboldened by the Spirit of the Lord that had rested upon him. Should we not trust in the promise of God? Was it not He who led us to this point? Let us pray for clarity before we move. The men quieted, their eyes inching toward the heavens, discomfort easing into reverence. Kneeling together, Hagar and Ishmael called upon God, imploring for wisdom and protection. A heavy stillness encompassed them, and in that silence, Hagar's heart pounded with foreboding and hope. "Lord, reveal your will for us," she breathed, squeezing her son's hand tightly. "Deliver us from evil and guide us forth." Then, as if the sky had split open, a brilliant light illuminated the encampment, and God's voice echoed through the air, unmistakable and strong. "Go not in haste, but rest and trust in me, for in your trust lies the key to your deliverance and your future." A hush fell upon the men, for they felt the weight of the divine in that moment. Fear transformed to a flicker of faith. "We shall rest," Zimri declared, though uncertainty lingered in his eyes. As night cloaked the land, the travelers huddled close together, though dashed with unease. Ishmael and his mother lingered by their fire, sharing quiet words and stories of the promises made to Abraham.
"Their forefather. I am a son of the covenant," Ishmael reminded her with a fervent whisper. "In me, the promise has a path. I cannot waver, nor lose hope. God has spoken." Suddenly, from the darkened edges of the camp, a cry shattered the fragile calm. A band of raiders descended like locusts, weapons drawn. Hagar's heart raced as she shielded Ishmael, fear wrapping around her spirit like a shroud. Yet, amidst the chaos, Ishmael felt the robust thrum of courage ignite within him. "Fear not," he shouted, standing tall, eyes ablaze with resolve. "For we are not alone. God is with us, and we shall prevail." The raiders hesitated for a moment, taken aback by the strength of the boy's voice. Hagar drew strength from her son's boldness, and as she began to gather those around them, the winds shifted as though in response to their prayers. A great cloud descended, dark and heavy, obscuring vision and hurling confusion upon the raiders. The men of Zimri, inspired by faith, grabbed their weapons, rallying behind Ishmael. In that tumultuous moment, they fought valiantly, the cries of the faithful rising beneath the despairing shouts of their enemies, echoing the promise that God was indeed their fortress. Yet, even amidst their victory, a revelation coiled within Ishmael's heart, one that was yet to bloom. A greater purpose, intertwined with the destiny of countless souls, awaited not far from their path. And so, as dawn would soon rise again, a new chapter in their journey would unfold, shrouded in divine mystery and irrevocable promise. A journey leading to a revelation that would forever alter the course of nations and deepen the covenant beneath which they walked. Unbeknownst to them, the saga of Ishmael was but beginning, a flicker of faith poised against the vast tapestry of God's design. What would be the next divine utterance that God would unfurl upon them? Only time would tell. The morning light broke over the horizon, spilling a golden hue across the weary faces of the travelers. An air of expectancy hung thick like the mist that lingered over the mountains. Hagar could feel the restlessness in her spirit translate into an urgency that compelled her to gather the few souls who had joined them. Word of the nightly assault spread quickly, and with it renewed whispers of doubt. "Listen to me," she began, her voice steady yet kind. "The Lord has delivered us from peril, and we must not forget His might. We rise today not just as survivors, but as chosen ones to carry His promise." Ishmael stood beside her, emboldened by her words. "We must prepare ourselves not with weapons alone, but with faith, for God fights for us. Each dawn brings His favor anew." His declaration was met with nods, some tentative, others invigorated by the truth that resonated in the depths of their souls. Zimri, still reeling from the attack, attempted to rally the men. "Let us forge onward then, for we are outnumbered but not defeated. Our priority must be to reach the nearest valley before dusk falls," he commanded, unsheathing his sword as a show of authority. Before they could forge their path, a quiet, gentle voice broke through the growing din. It was a lone elder, his face weathered yet wise, each crease a testament of trials endured. "Hold fast one more moment. The Lord's voice spoke last night, and we must heed His counsel. He has promised protection. Let us not provoke further wrath, but seek His guidance." The men fell silent, reflecting on the words from the elder, remembering the divine illumination that had blanketed them. Reverberating with faint echoes of the past, it reminded Hagar of the covenant made not only with Abraham, but also with her and Ishmael, underscoring that every step they took was guided and counted. They knelt once more, creating a hallowed circle around their small fire, offering prayers both fervent and sincere. "O Lord," Ishmael lifted his voice, "you told us to trust. Strengthen us to hold true. We are but your vessels, and we seek your will." Their prayers melded into one, a chorus of unified hearts joined under the scent of smoke and earth. Then, as if answering from on high, a soft breeze enveloped them, wrapping each soul in a warmth that carried the scent of promise. The elder opened his eyes first, a twinkle of divine revelation sparking within them. "I sense it," he murmured. "A path unfolds, laid before us, not just here, but for generations to come." With new clarity, Zimri declared, "Then we will be led, not by haste, but by the Lord." As they set forth, the sun rose steadily, illuminating their path like the fire of God's presence itself. Each footfall became a prayer, each rustle of leaves a caress from the Almighty. But in the distance, a movement caught Hagar's eye, figures shadowing their journey. She paused, dread rising within her. "Ishmael, look yonder," she whispered with urgency. As they peered ahead, a caravan appeared upon the path, their garments rich and their bearing regal. Whisperings of surprise rippled through the group as the strangers approached. "Who are you?" Zimri demanded, stepping forward, hand resting on his sword's hilt. The leader of the caravan raised his hand, virtually commanding silence. "We come seeking the Son of the Covenant," he proclaimed, gaze steady upon Ishmael. "The Lord of hosts has sent us to offer what He has ordained for you." As confusion mingled with a spark of anticipation, Ishmael stood tall, understanding that the journey was unfolding not just for himself, but for a legacy beyond his wildest dreams. A divine purpose awaited, unknown yet profound. And so, what awaited on this providential path remained shrouded in divine mystery, revealing that with each step walked in faith, the weight of the promise pressed forth, a network of destinies woven into the very fabric of history. How would this encounter redefine the lineage promised by God? Only the unfolding of time would unveil this miraculous truth. As the caravan drew closer, tension filled the air, a mixture of wonder and apprehension lingering on every breath. The leader of the caravan, adorned in fine linen that shimmered like the desert sun, stepped forth, his eyes like pools of deep knowledge. "I am Eliezer, a servant of the house of Abraham," he declared, his voice resonating with an authority that commanded respect. "We have journeyed far, compelled by the promise made unto your father, for the Almighty has not forgotten his covenant." Ishmael's heart quickened within him at the mention of his lineage, the promise that had come to define his very existence. "But what is it that you bring?" he asked, a knot of anticipation tightening in his chest. Eliezer gestured toward the caravan, and several strong men bore forward a series of intricate caravans laden with precious goods, gold, silver, and garments fit for kings. "These offerings are but a reflection of the riches of heaven bestowed upon you, Ishmael, son of Abraham. The Lord desires you to rise as a leader among nations. A great multitude shall come forth from you." Hagar, caught between the weight of promise and the shroud of uncertainty, stepped into the light. "Is this truly a gift from the Almighty, or do you come with intent to change our purpose?" she questioned, her voice unwavering yet soft. Eliezer turned to her, his gaze warm with understanding. "It is written, 'I will make a great nation of the son of the slave, because he is your offspring,' Genesis 21:13. The Lord seeks not to change your destiny, but to clarify it. He has chosen to honor you both with abundance and significance in his plan." Suddenly, a whispering wind swirled around them, with grains of sand swirling like tiny messengers from heaven, and Hagar felt a sense of peace washing over her. With curiosity now replacing doubt, the men gathered closely, intrigued by the opulence and promise that lay before them. Zimri, ever the pragmatist, crossed his arms and raised an eyebrow. "And what is the cost of these gifts? We must consider what loyalty is being demanded in exchange," he warned, eyes scanning the caravan. "Eliezer, servant of the Most High, bears no hidden charge. We come not to ensnare, but to deliver what the Lord has ordained," he affirmed, his tone unwavering. As the sun reached its zenith, casting shadows that seemed to dance in approval of the unfolding narrative, Ishmael felt the weight of his lineage upon his shoulders. It was not merely a gift he received, but a mantle being placed upon him, an invitation into the divine orchestration of history. "I will accept this provision," Ishmael finally proclaimed, his voice steady, drawing strength from the presence of God that enveloped them. "For he has allowed me to walk in the light of his promise." As the caravan began to distribute the treasures before them, joy and gratitude filled the hearts of the. Yet, beneath the celebration, Hagar felt a divine urgency tugging at her spirit. "Ishmael, this is only a beginning. There is more the Lord desires for us to discover," she cautioned, her eyes filled with vision. Just then, a distant thunder echoed through the valley, rumbling like a herald of significance. The travelers grew silent, turning their gaze toward the horizon where dark clouds gathered ominously. "Fear not the storms," Eliezer reassured them, "for they are but a sign of his power at work among us." With renewed fervor, they embraced the gifts as markers of a shared destiny, yet a sober understanding began to settle among the group. What trials lay ahead? What testing would they face that would reveal the true nature of their covenant with God? And as the horizon darkened, hinting at forthcoming trials, it became clear to Ishmael that within every blessing lay divine responsibility, a call to integrity, and a promise that was meticulously unraveling, revealing that a great nation would rise not simply from wealth, but from those anchored in faith. The Almighty moved, weaving his plan, and while the future held shadows of uncertainty, one thing was clear: the unfolding narrative was far from over. What challenges awaited as the tempest drew nearer? Only the heart of the faithful would discover the depths of his sovereign promise. As the winds howled through the valley, swirling the dust around them, Ishmael felt a rising tension, a palpable shift in the atmosphere. He turned to Eliezer, his heart wrestling with a mixture of hope and fear. What lay ahead was unknown, yet the promise of the Almighty beckoned him forward. "It is not just the riches you have brought that captivate us," Ishmael began, his voice steady despite the storm brewing above. "It is the weight of the promise, the destiny that clings to our lineage. If we are indeed to be a great nation, we must tread carefully upon this path." Eliezer nodded, his expression filled with wisdom. "You speak wisely, Ishmael. God's blessings come intertwined with trials. Remember the words spoken of your father Abraham. By your offspring shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Genesis 22:18. This blessing bears responsibility. Hagar, emboldened by her son's declaration, took a step closer. "Tell us then, servant of the Almighty, what trials do we face? For I sense that the clouds gather not only to shield us from the sun, but to herald a transformation." Suddenly, a flash of lightning illuminated the darkening sky, and thunder rumbled as if echoing the heartbeat of creation. "As the heavens declare his majesty," Eliezer replied, "so shall your story unfold in ways unforeseen. Your faith will be tested, your resolve shaken, but in this, know that the Lord will never abandon you." As the first drops of rain began to fall, the travelers drew closer together, seeking warmth in each other's presence. They could feel the intensity of the moment hanging in the air, the anticipation waterlogged with divine urgency. "What shadows await us?" Zimri asked, breaking the somber spell. "Shall we face foes on our journey? Is it the land itself that shall challenge us?" His eyes scanned the horizon, every bolt of lightning revealing a glimpse into the uncertain future. Eliezer shifted slightly, acknowledging the palpable fear in the air. "Every great endeavor must endure. Trials will come, yet in those very moments when you are stretched beyond measure, witness the mighty hand of God, molding and guiding you through the fire. Remember, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you." Isaiah 43:2. As the rains began to pour, drenching the earth, Hagar felt an awakening within her spirit. "Though we may walk through dark valleys, our strength must arise from the well of his promise. We shall press on, for he has fashioned us for greatness." The men and women began to stir, emboldened by Hagar's words of faith. They formed a circle, holding hands, each heart beating in time with the pulse of divine presence. Ishmael prayed aloud, his voice rising above the sound of the rain. "Lord, we surrender our fears, our doubts, and our very destiny to you. Guide us as we venture forth, and may we be vessels of your glory." Suddenly, another rumble of thunder echoed, louder and more resonant than before, as if the heavens themselves were affirming their commitment to stand by them. As the storm raged, Eliezer retreated momentarily to gather strength from the Lord. Ishmael felt inexplicable warmth surrounding him, stirring in his soul. He closed his eyes and grasped the significance of what was unfolding. It was a divine appointment, a sacred moment steeped in God's unseen hand. When Eliezer returned, his face glowed with determination. "The path to your promise is paved not just with gold and silver, but cemented in faith, steadfastness, and courage. Do not forget, Ishmael, the promise you hold is not just for you, but for the great multitude that will emerge from you. Nations will rise, and in those nations the story of obedience shall be written." A rustle moved through the group, uncertainty mixed with the hopeful anticipation of a future yet to be revealed. The reality of their calling sank into the hearts of the faithful. They were at the cusp of something profound. As the tempest continued, a hush fell momentarily,
a divine pause, and a revelation pierced the atmosphere. "But what you do not yet know," Eliezer continued, voice rising above the storm, "is that a test lies ahead of you, a cornerstone of your faith that will define you." What was this test, they wondered, and could they withstand the shaking that awaited? A sacred journey awaited, veiled in mystery, yet echoing the assurance that the Lord's covenant was as steadfast as the thunder that rolled above them, heralding the dawn of a new beginning. As the storm raged around them, the air thick with tension, Eliezer raised his hands to the Lord.
Heavens, gather around, for the Lord desires to speak to us. The group encircled him, bracing against the driving rain that fell like judgment but nurtured the earth equally. The trembling earth beneath stirred with a divine presence, and Eliezer, his eyes gleaming with fervor, implored the Almighty, "Great God of our forefathers, reveal your will to us, for we stand upon holy ground." In that moment, a deep silence swept over the tumult, as if creation itself held its breath. The storm paused, and the voice of God echoed like the distant roll of thunder. "I have chosen you, Ishmael, among many, even as the world may cast aside. But know this, my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Isaiah 55:9. A wave of shock washed over Ishmael, and the promise swelled within him. "What will you require of me, Lord?" His heart pounded, aware that the unfolding plan involved both glory and struggle. "Your journey will lead you through desolation and plenty, through scorn and honor. You will encounter the bitter and the sweet, but remain steadfast," the voice declared. "And as the stars in the heavens, so shall your descendants be, a multitude destined to call upon my name." Hagar, emboldened by the divine assurance, pressed closer to Ishmael. "Fear not, my son, the path may be fraught with trials, yet it is ordained for greatness. Trust in the promise that is woven into our very beings." The winds began to swirl again, but this time they seemed to carry with them a sense of purpose, a clarion call to advance. Every breath they took carried the weight of generations fulfilled by God's miraculous hand. As the group prepared to set forth, Zimri spoke, his voice wavering but determined. "And what if we falter? What if our faith wavers in the face of adversity?" Eliezer gazed earnestly at Zimri. "Know this, even the mighty fall, that they may rise again. Do not measure the strength of your faith by the distance you travel, but by the grace that meets you where you stand. The Lord upholds all who are falling." Psalm 145:14. The rain began to soften, and the sky above parted just enough to reveal a sliver of light, a divine promise peeking through. The travelers took a collective breath, and an atmosphere of expectancy filled the air. "Let us move forward," Ishmael proclaimed, steeling his resolve. "Each step shall be a testament of faith as we lean on the Almighty. In this journey, let our lives be an offering, a testament to the promise bestowed upon us." As they ventured into the unknown, the path ahead twisted and turned through thickets and valleys, yet the glow of hope ignited within them, guiding their way. Each footfall was communion with the Creator, who promised to be present with them through their trials. The sun dipped lower in the horizon as dusk approached, glittering rays breaking through the clouds. It was as if heaven smiled upon their resolve. Eliezer paused as the shadows lengthened, a premonition stirring within his heart. "The darkest nights often precede the brightest dawns," he cautioned, resting a hand upon Ishmael's shoulder. "Hold fast and remember the covenant I have spoken of. It shall be tested, yet it is sacred." As the last light faded, a distant roar echoed, shaking the earth, a prelude to something grand yet daunting.
And in the depth of the unfolding journey, a burning question lingered within Ishmael. What was yet left to unveil? They pushed onward through the dusk, each heartbeat resonating with the anticipation of the challenges ahead. As they approached a narrow pass, the ground tremored beneath them, a tremor that signified change was coming, a revelation linked to a hidden purpose that would shape their legacy. But what they did not yet perceive was that within the shadows, darker forces loomed, poised to challenge everything they had bravely embraced. Little did they know, the test of faith and the unveiling of God's sovereign plan was intricately tied to their very steps. The night whispered of secrets yet to be discovered, setting the stage for a divine confrontation that would change everything. As they pressed forward into the approaching darkness, a heavy mist began to envelop the path, obscuring their vision and thickening the air with uncertainty. Ishmael and the companions bonded together, their hearts beating in tandem amid the spiritual weight surrounding them. Eliezer turned, his face reflecting a blend of resolve and apprehension. We advance not merely through these physical landscapes, but through the trials laid before our faith. For it is written, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds." James 1:2. In this hour, let joy be our strength. The group nodded, albeit doubt flickering across their faces like shadows in the moonlight. Zimri remained steadfast, yet unease gnawed at his spirit. What if the trials prove too great? What if we become weary and fall away from this promise? But remember, Hagar interjected gently, it is the Lord who sustains us. His grace is sufficient, even in our weakness. In the midst of their conversation, a rustling arose from the thicket beside them. Hagar's heart quickened. Was it an animal or something more sinister? The wind howled, creating a cacophony that twisted their thoughts. Then, from within the darkness, a figure emerged, shrouded in shadow yet unmistakably human. The figure spoke, its voice low but carrying an otherworldly strength. "Halt! Who approaches?" Eliezer stepped forward, unwavering. "We are pilgrims on the path designed by the living God. We seek His will and to fulfill the promise laid upon us." The figure stepped into a clearer light, revealing its features. It was a man, though his eyes glinted with a knowing that suggested he walked in realms beyond earthly confines. "You speak of promises, yet many have faltered in pursuit. This promise comes at a price. What are you willing to give?" Ishmael emboldened.
"All that I am and all that I will become. For I am destined to be a father of nations, even if the world deems me unworthy." The figure nodded slowly, as if weighing his words. "Then prepare your heart, Ishmael, for the trials will not be of your choosing. Greater adversities lurk upon your path, trials that will see you cast down and rise up again, proving the faith that you declare." Zimri swallowed hard, fear creeping into his tone. What manner of trials? Will they come from man or beast? "From within and without," the figure intoned. And with those words, the landscape around them shifted. The mist thickened, shadows elongated, transforming into spectral forms that loomed ominously over the group, testing the very core of their faith. Eliezer raised his arms in defense, shouting over the rising wind, "Be not afraid, for the Lord is with us. His rod and staff, they comfort us." Psalm 23:4. At that, the spectral figures hesitated, as if recognizing something powerful within the congregated faithful. The darkness pulled back, but did not dissipate entirely, a warning of the challenges that lay ahead. With night settling deeper, Ishmael could feel the weight of destiny pressing upon him. "What must I do to stand firm?" he called out into the darkness, searching for guidance. With a piercing gaze, the figure spoke once more. Seek the Lord with all your heart, not just in the midst of struggle, but in joy and sorrow alike. Then, as swiftly as he had come, the figure faded back into the night, leaving the group in stunned silence. As they regrouped, determination spread among them, ignited by the mysterious visitation. The night seemed to hum with an electric charge, divine mysteries yet unraveling. Obscured by darkness, but illuminated by unwavering resolve, Ishmael whispered, "We are to carry forth the legacy of faith, and though trials await, we will not turn back, for He has chosen us." Yet, unbeknownst to them, the darkness seethed anew, plotting and scheming. Behind them loomed forces that would test even the strongest of wills. God's sovereign plan was in motion, shrouded in an exquisite tapestry of both despair and hope. And so, as they forged ahead, the whispers of fate and free will wove through their hearts. Could they truly hold fast to the promise amidst the encroaching shadows? Little did they know, the culmination of God's design awaited, easy to overlook, but vital for the revelation of their destiny. What lay on the horizon remained a tantalizing mystery, but without doubt, the climactic confrontation of faith was bearing down upon them. As dawn broke upon the land, the cool light began to dissipate the shadows that had loomed menacingly through the night. Hagar, weary yet resolute, felt the warmth of the sun embrace her, a divine reminder of God's steadfast covenant. She turned to Ishmael, whose spirit had grown emboldened through the fiery trials they had endured.
"Today, my son," Hagar declared, a spark of faith igniting in her eyes, "we shall not merely survive, we shall thrive in the promise of the Almighty. He has brought us this far for a purpose beyond our understanding." Ishmael nodded, lifting his chin as the golden rays illuminated his face. With each challenge he encountered, a deeper understanding of his identity as the son of the covenant crystallized within him. The weight of destiny nestled in his heart. The legacy of a great nation awaited. "We shall stand firm," he affirmed, "for our trust is anchored in Him who is faithful." As they gathered their meager belongings, the echoes of last night's trials resounded in their spirits, a testament to the power of prayer and perseverance. Their companions, now fortified by an unwavering sense of collective purpose, united in a circle once more, a circle of promise and faith. The elder, who had long journeyed among them, stepped forward. "Today we shall venture onward, but let each step be guided by prayer. For the path is fraught with uncertainty, and it is through divine guidance that we forge our way. Let us invite the Lord into our hearts and ask for His might," Zimri called, his voice echoing with newfound fervor. They knelt in the morning light, voices lifted in unified cry, expressing their hopes, fears, and longing for guidance. In that sacred moment, as they prayed earnestly, a stillness enveloped them, a tangible peace bestowed by the Holy Spirit. "Lord, lead us in the path You've laid before us," Ishmael prayed fervently. "Grant us strength and wisdom for the trials we face." The group felt a surge of divine assurance wash over them like a gentle breeze, binding their hearts together in the spirit of unity. Suddenly, a distant rumble echoed across the valley. The shadows which had previously chilled their spirits began to lift. And as the group arose, a sight unlike any other unfolded across the horizon. The land shimmered with colors of life, lush and fertile fields unfolding like a tapestry woven by the Creator's hand. "Our future lies within those fields," Hagar exclaimed, tears glistening in her eyes, reflecting both the sun's light and a revelation of hope. "We must journey there as caretakers of this promise."
Yet, even as excitement swelled in their hearts, an air of caution lingered. The path ahead was unknown, winds of change stirring. As they ventured forth, their feet connecting with the earth, Ishmael believed fervently that God's hand was guiding each step. As they crossed into the harvested fields, a figure emerged on the far side of the expanse, waving with urgency. "Come forth," the stranger shouted, his voice carrying a sense of both danger and hope. "Your journey intersects with that of others who are also destined for greatness." Eliezer, gauging the crowd, advanced cautiously, positioning himself protectively before the group. "Fear not, for we are children of the covenant and seek only to fulfill our purpose." The stranger, now closer, revealed a countenance filled with light and intensity. His demeanor glowed with divine knowledge. "I am Nahor, keeper of the lands bestowed upon you. But there is much I must reveal, for a trial of great significance lies before you." Hagar glanced at Ishmael, sensing a ripple of tension course through the air. "What trial?" she implored, her heart racing. "It is a test of your faith and your unity," Nahor declared, his gaze piercing. "You shall be challenged to stand together against the forces that seek to divide you. Doubt will assail your hearts, but strength lies in your unity and unwavering trust in the Most High. Only then can you claim the promise of a great nation." Ishmael stepped forward, courage swelling within him. "Together we will rise, for we have been molded through trials and touched by the divine. We will not waver." Nahor nodded, a glint of approval in his gaze. "Then rise, steadfast in faith, for the world watches. Your victory shall ripple through generations, echoing divine truth far and wide." As the sun ascended higher, illuminating the fields that would soon be the birthplace of a new legacy, a solemn realization settled within the group. They were not merely wanderers on this path. They were heralds of a promise unfolding through the ages. The people began to reorganize, readying themselves for the inevitable confrontation, trusting God's hand would shield them through whatever lay ahead. The warmth of newfound understanding penetrated the atmosphere, the knowledge they were destined for more than mere survival. "You are destined for greatness," Hagar proclaimed, her voice strong and unwavering. "God has called us to be co-laborers in His promise. Let us be strong and courageous." And as they rose, transforming fear into faith, each heart thundering with resolute trust, the messages of yesterday wove together with the promises of tomorrow. The road ahead would challenge them, but would also reflect the divine tapestry of grace, strength, and hope. The promise of Ishmael was but beginning, setting the stage for a legacy that would flourish beyond measure, the culmination of what it meant to carry the covenant, sealed in faith. As they pressed on, each step forming a declaration, their hearts ablaze with expectancy. Let all who walk this earth know that when God speaks, it is with great power, and His promises shall not fail. Now, dear friends, as we reflect on the miracle of Ishmael's journey, it is time for you to embrace your own story within God's divine narrative. If you were inspired by these powerful biblical truths, you need to subscribe now to stay connected to God's Word. Your journey to growth in faith matters. Leave a like now to help spread God's Word through the algorithm. Your engagement helps reach more souls hungry for truth. We invite you to comment your spiritual reflections about Ishmael's story and how it has impacted your faith journey. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear God's truth and be a blessing. Don't wait even one more second to share this powerful testimony. Your act of sharing can ignite a fire of faith in another's heart.